Welcome into another episode of 15 Sports Plus. We've got a big week ahead of us, as it's pretty special because the regular season is donezo. So we've got some big high school football action coming up for you. And before we kind of get into the biggest matchups heading into the week, let's take a look at those regular season conference standings here. First, let's start with the Badger Large Conference. Waunakee ending perfect. This seemed to be a little bit of the juggernaut of teams when you look to the high school football conference standings. Waunakee, Monona Grove, Milton, all three big names heading into this season, throughout the season, and Monona Grove now also ending the season with a perfect note. A 58-0 win in their last win, and Milton as well, a big name on that list. Now from there on, still some great teams and great names in the rest of the season. Sun Prairie East getting knocked early with the loss of their star running back Brady Kaufman, and DeForest, Sun Prairie West, Oregon all tied at 5th, ending this one, and Fort Atkinson not a single win on the season. But how about the Badger Small Conference too? We have Edgewood, Sauk Prairie, and Mount Horror Barneveld all officially tying for first in the conference, but Edgewood getting that title with the 8-1 regular season record. They dropped their last game to Sauk Prairie, but they were undefeated for the remainder, or the majority of the season, couldn't find the word there. And Mount Horror Barneveld also a great season. One of their only losses coming to Edgewood, and that was a great game. Of course, it had to be our game of the week that week. And Lakeside Lutheran winning their last two. They do get some wins on the season, and Stoughton and Porridge also at 3-6 on this season. And another big conference throughout the season is the Capital Conference. Or the Big 8 Conference. We'll start with the Big 8 Conference, We got Middleton having sole charge of that conference with an 8-1 record. Verona following behind with a 6-3 record, and the rest of those not the seasons that they were hoping for. A 5-4 season to close it out for Madison West. Madison Memorial, a great way to close out the season as well. They were down 0-5, and then they win their last 4. They have a great season on their hands, and sharing that stadium, Madison West, another over 500 season, so good for the Regents. And Janesville Craig and Janesville Parker, only right that the two Janesville schools tie in the Big 8 with a 4-5 record and a 3-6 record. Not seasons that they were hoping for, but still seasons to be proud of. And Madison the Fall, a 2-8 season. Madison East winless on the year. Now the Capital Conference, we will look at Columbus. What a year they had, led by Peyton Powers, Bobby Tracy, two star names to watch out for. And they end with an 8-1 record. And then Lodi following behind with a 7-2 record. Lakeville's not far behind as well, also 7-2. And how about the star QB they have? Tyler Wolling, only a junior, still has a whole year left, and a year for the books. Who knows what he can do this offseason to have a senior season for the books? We'll just have to wait and see. And Clinton not far behind, 6-3. Beloit Turner 4-5 on the year. Horicon Hustisford, I apologize if I said that wrong, 1-8, and then Bigfoot 1-7 on the year. Great regular season game, so of course we will be set for a great playoff in our hands. So, of course, let's start with our game of the week, if I can get this clicked on. We'll be heading over to Monona Grove. Jocko Dukes and I will be heading down the road to MG High School as the Silver Eagles take on Brookfield Central for the start of the playoffs. MG facing the tough task of Lancers QB AJ Seymour, who has surpassed 1,000 yards both in the air and on the ground. 24 total touchdowns, almost 2,500 total yards for the senior. But on the other end, the Silver Eagles, led by their sophomore QB Jackson Zukowski. And how about the junior wide receiver Makai Fowler with 7 of Zukowski's 11 passing touchdowns? Really looking forward for this one. Jocko and I will have more on this matchup live from Monona Grove at 5-6. And of course, we'll have those highlights at 10 for week 10 of Friday Football Blitz, which brings me to the fact that you should be joining us tomorrow at 5-10, which this did not play the graphic that I was hoping for. But at 10 o'clock, on Friday night, we will be going through all of those highlights from games around the area for week 10 of Friday Football Blitz. So join us at 10 for week 10, and we will have all of those games for you. But first, we should take a look and head off the football field and onto the tennis courts as we highlight this week's 15 Sports Athlete of the Week. McKenna Thorson, who is having herself quite the year. She is coming into this one.
I keep from myself,
practicing for state team tennis with her Wildcat teammates. She made it all the way to state finals in Division I individual tennis last weekend. Coming up short in a tiebreaker, but either way for her, she describes it as a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'm extremely fortunate and grateful, even though I didn't, pull it out again this year. I keep from myself, I still have another year to achieve that and, just make every experience count because you only get so many chances.
Now, that was just a teaser. We will have a whole lot more on McKenna coming up later tonight at 6 and 10 as she gets added to the very exclusive club of being a 15 Sports Athlete of the Week. But we're going to take a quick break. We have some big Badger news to talk about after this.